Hey guys, hey today. I hope this works. You got your ears on, good buddy, because we are gonna rock it. And this is more of a theology deal, and I'm gonna do the work for you. Because sometimes you just don't know. You just don't know what you're reading if you don't look up those words that are like a Hebrew and things like that, and then you just don't understand, and people just kind of tend to give up, and then they give up. Reading that and seeing the excitement that it has when you really define what's going on in the Bible. So this is gonna be a good one. I am a blast on this one. I'm gonna have a blast on this one. All right, so we're gonna talk about that 400 years between the Old Testament and the New Testament and what had happened. And it looks to me as though what happened is the synagogue and the priests and everything created all these laws and everything, and they followed more of the laws and things like that. And it had nothing to do with the people, and it bothers. I don't know. It happened to be like that's where we get all of that, and that's where like Jesus is coming, and when he said, you guys are hypocrites and this and that. So we're not going to get into that part, but we are going to get into this part. This part is really cool. So I'm going to go to the my favorite site. I can find it here. Not this one. Oh no. Here, my favorite site, godquestions.org, and punched in what happened and what were those 400 years of silence they call them, but between the Old Testament and New Testament. We spoke about that in that other one. So I'm going to delve a little more into that. So there's the time between the Old Testament and the New Testament during which God did not speak to the Jewish people. 400 years of silence began with the warning that closed the Old Testament. Behold, I am going to send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and the terrible of the Lord. The great and the terrible day of the Lord. He will restore the hearts of the fathers of their children and the hearts of the children of their fathers, so that I will not come and smite the land with a curse. Kapow! So it says, behold, I will send Elijah the prophet before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes, and he will turn the hearts of the fathers of their children and the hearts of the children of the fathers, lest I come and strike the land. So it ended with the coming of John, and then that ended with the coming of John the Baptist, the Messiah's forerunner, and when Jesus comes and I will make you fisher of men, and he goes John the Baptist while he's baptizing everybody, and he gets baptized. So Jesus was like a man because he did he did everything. He was the carpenter's son, and he did as we did to feel that, to know that, and to be that, so that he can sacrifice for us. So in the warning, now remember this, all right? So for 430 BC, the Jewish had returned to Israel from Babylonian captivity. So as merchants, not shepherds. So the Medo-Persian Empire still ruled Israel, and the temple had been rebuilt. Both the law and the priesthood of Aaron's line had been restored. That's good. And the Jews had given up their worship of idols. Nevertheless, Malachi's warning was not without cause. The Jewish people were mistreated. They mistreated their wives, marrying pagans, not tithing, and then priests were neglecting the temple and not teaching the people the ways of God. In short, the Jews were not honoring God. So they weren't honoring God. And then 333 BC, remember BC goes backwards, the numbers are backwards in order to go forwards. So in 330 BC, Israel fell to the Greeks. In 323 BC, it fell to the Egyptians. The Jews generally were treated well throughout those reigns, and they adopted the Greek language and many of the Greek customs, manners. And in Egypt, the Old Testament was translated to Greek. That translation, the Septuagint, because I did look that up for you, and that's exactly what that was. It's a translation, so listen. Septuagint is a translation. The Old Testament, Greek version of the Old Testament, traditionally said to have been translated by 70 or 72 Jewish scholars at the request of Ptolemy. The second, he was a king that reigned in that time. Most scholars believe that only the Pentateuch was completed by the early part of the 3rd century BC, and that remaining books were translated in the next 2 centuries. So the Pentateuch is actually the first 5 books of the Bible. That's what they call them, which was Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So those 5 were called the Pentateuch. And they also have another meaning, and that's in there when we read down a little further, called the Torah. The Torah is the same thing as the Pentateuch. It's just another name. So see, already you're learning something that's like, what? So I think that's great. I think it's fun because then you start understanding a little more. So these 400 years were kind of like Jesus is coming to say all of that, to say, listen, this is what you this is what happened, this is what you did, this is not correct, things like that. I'm not here to abolish the laws, but to fulfill them. But in the same respect, you guys are hypocrites. You're doing all of this stuff. You're creating all this stuff, and you're not allowing the people and teaching the people the ways of the Lord, which is why Jesus came, to give him what really should have been. So see, that's all some cool stuff, I think. So Caesar installed an anticipator and a descendant of Azu. As the New Testament opens, Antipater's son, Herod the Great, a descendant of Asu, was king, and the priesthood was politically motivated, and not of the line of Aaron, which was I think it was Moses' son. It was one of the sons. He was a priest, Politics also resulted in development of two major factions, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. The Sadducees favored the liberal attitudes and practices of the Greeks. They had held only the Torah. They had only held the Torah in regards to religion, but like most aristocrats, they did not think God should have part in governing the nation. So the Torah was the Pentateuch was those first 5 books of the Bible, which were all the laws and things like that. So obviously that's what they did. They followed those laws and created, and probably a few of their own little delios there, stuff like that. So the Pharisees were conservative, zealous, who, with the help of the scribes, developed religious law to the point where the concerns and the care of the people were essentially meaningless. The concerns and the care of the people were meaningless. So, additionally, synagogues, priesthoods, everybody knows the synagogue, new places of worship and social activity had sprouted up all over the country, and religious and civil matters were governed by the lesser and the greater Sidarians, the great Sidarian being comprised of the chief priest and 7 other members that handed out the justice. So sometimes by 39 lashes, administering with full force. 39 lashes. So those were the laws. Those were the punishments, and of course they did that to Jesus. They didn't believe who he was, because obviously this tells you right here, they didn't believe who he was because they didn't govern the people through for God and let the people begin. No, they ruled, and they got that power, and then they had gone to their head. So between the time of Malachi and the coming of Messiah, several people, the prophets were fulfilled, including 2,300 days of the decision. I can't. My glasses are off. Between 171 and Daniel 8:14, and they said to me, for 2,300 evenings and mornings, then the sanctuary shall be restored to its rightful state. However, the people did not put that to good use either, and fulfilled prophecies, nor the 400 years of the nations were given to study scripture to the God. Okay, so basically that's it, and that's the dealio. That's the diggy. Septuagint. Remember that. Septuagint is the oldest version that was translated, the oldest version of the New Testament, or the Old Testament, that was translated between 70 and 72 Jewish scholars. So that's how we can read it today, probably because of those translations. I know, that's another scary thing, isn't it? All those translations over the years, something's got to be different, something's got to be, but I don't think it is. I don't think it was. So that's pretty neat, isn't it? So that 400 years is how we got from the Old Testament to the New Testament, which showed us when we do read the New Testament, all the things that Jesus said about in the New Testament to the people, and to the he was doing those things that were supposed to be done by those leaders, but they only wanted the laws. They only followed the laws and things like that, the laws and the books. But there was more to it. You got to read, and you got to read between the lines, and you got to read the rest, and you got to follow the rest. And obviously they didn't do that. Maybe that's today. Maybe today that's why we are so worried about the Bible and so fear the Bible, because we know that other stuff, and we don't study that other stuff except when we study the Old Testament, or the the New Testament with about Jesus coming and stuff, but we still don't understand it. We still don't understand, and that's where that separation between Old and New Testament come from. And it comes from that 400 years with these guys creating only that, only those laws, and following only that, and lashing out and giving all of that to them, and that's what, you know. And then the Catholics come in and keep that kind of stuff up, and it's. Whew, I am digging it though. I'm out of breath because that was fun and that was nice and super learningness. So I really hope that you guys dug that, because I dug that. I dug that muchly. I hope you really guys watch this one. This one I was excited about, to give you a little background information on stuff and where that where we get where that you know that. Oh, I'm not religious, and in fear of this and fear of that, and why, you know. So that's cool. I dig it. Have a great Wednesday.